Bearcat Bounce Podcast. Woohoo! Back at it again. Monday. Monday, following an upset of a ranked foe on the road for the baseball program. We're gonna touch on that later. But also another toughie on the road. Whistle. Another hard loss on the road. Whistle. Another difficult chance to add to the whistle tournament resume for the basketball program on the road against a ranked foe. We're going to touch on that. It's also a Monday where I get to bring in the guys, the crew. The whole squad is not assembled yet, but we will be strong here in a few. But for the time being, Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, gentlemen, how are we?
Good. Had a busy day today, a little radio. Spent some time at Costco, just kind of rolling the aisles, killing time before Kelsey was done with volleyball. And then made some Cajun chicken sandwiches that were outstanding. And here we are.
Tell me more about this Cajun chicken sandwich.
Was that a child?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Not mine. I don't have one.
When did you get one of those?
It's been a wild year. I'll tell you that much right now.
It's already walking and talking. Jeez.
You know what? You get the strong, the strength and unity inside, and before you know it, they're walking, they're talking already. But yeah, I need to tell the listeners a little bit more about these Cajun chicken sandwiches. I'll be right back.
You just cube up, little small pieces of chicken. You put some Cajun seasoning on them. I got some when I was at Costco. I found some French baguettes. Turned those into the vehicle for the Cajun chicken sandwich. Kelsey had some mozzarella cheese on hers. I had pepper jack. They were very good. How about you, Aaron? What are you up to?
Pepper jack's the way to go. I don't know. I went to Cincinnati for a 4-year-old's birthday party this weekend.
Did you drop the 4-year-old off at Brent's house?
No, I did not drive to Florida. But yeah, and it's also not my 4-year-old. That's abduction, I believe, in all 50 states. But
Alabama's still a state, right? Probably okay there.
Get away with a lot down there, I'd imagine.
But
I tell you what,
a player that had like a whole abduction like thing in Alabama.
Oh man, I'd have to pull up the archives to remind myself on that. But yeah, the little one making the noise out there, my nephew, shouts to the boy Billy. He was loud and proud at what do they call it? Financial Trust or whatever it is, Arena TBC, whatever it is down at UCF. He was loud and proud as the Bearcats took down the Knights of Gold. So he just wanted to say what's up to the BVP faithful. So he made his voice known. But yes,
Devontae Pollard.
I remember that now. Yeah,
there was a whole like child abduction thing. I guess that proves that it's not okay in Alabama.
I think the writing's on the wall. Yeah, McDonald's All-American.
Alabama's clear.
We can add them to the list. Confirmed.
Yeah. That was a Bearcat, former Bearcat recruit, wasn't it? Devontae Pollard.
Yeah, he started at Houston.
Yeah.
And so that's the squad there. But how are we, guys? Aaron, how are you, brother? How are you?
I already answered that. I'm good.
Did Chad give you the how are we? Chad, your how are we needs a little work, but it's not terrible. It's solid.
Aaron, how are we?
How are we?
I think that's pretty spot on.
Hey, it's pretty spot on.
Moving on.
Oh gosh, yeah, we got a lot to get to, guys. It's just every step closer.
Is this a baseball podcast now?
I was gonna say it's like do we reward the winners? I mean, basketball did win one since we had the last BBP, so they do get some limelight here. But yeah, I mean, baseball. How about that? Top 25 for the first time ever in the history of Cincinnati baseball. That's impressive visual ball stuff going on there. The Dukies,
Friend of the show.
Duke Blue Devils, friend of the show, recurring guest, the GOAT, Jordan Bishel. He's the man. But you know what, guys? Before we go any
Did
further,
you hear him sing me on Thursday, Brent?
he did what now?
Zing. He got a good one in on me.
Oh no, what did he do?
I kept kind of poking at him if they were going to let me on the plane to go to Vegas and San Diego next week.
Right.
And he said they would put me in the cargo hold, but that I would have to pay for any overages on weight from the expected cargo, and that I probably couldn't afford it.
Oh wow, jeez.
He called me fat, Brent.
Although, remember, there was talks about, football build, football physique recently on certain pods. So he could have just been a long-time listener, and he's like, wow, yeah. I mean, Chad's got that football physique. So
no, he called me fat. It's fine. He called me fat.
Okay. Maybe he just meant you have a giant dome.
I do. I do.
Yeah. What's the average weight of the human head? It's like 20 pounds or something, 15 pounds, something crazy like that.
Mine's bigger than that.
Chad's is like 40. That's like
it's like you have room to talk.
Dude, my head is not that big. My brain is
Hi,
massive.
Ryan. How you doing?
Royer, the boy. How are we, brother? Oh, muted.
Trying to fix these headphones really quick. Hold on.
Sorry.
It's not working.
He got those new Air Bobons on right now. You rocking it. But yeah, if you are gonna go and cheer on the Bearcats in the biggest basketball game of the season on a Wednesday night in Morgantown, West Virginia, I suggest you head over to Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Get your car an oil change before you head that way and cannot get out because your car needs a lot of fixing when you're trying to leave. Don't run into that. So head over to Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Danco Joe will hook you up. Talk to him about Jizzle James. Talk to him about Jordan Bishel. Talk to him about everything you need, and he will get you $10 off your next oil change, 10% off the next fixing over at Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Ryan, are we back?
We're back.
There we go, man. There we go.
Ready. Sorry about that.
Were you off work today? You get the day off?
I had a nice day off. Made a pot roast.
Oh,
it's currently in the oven. So that.
Wait, you make your pot roast in the oven?
Yeah, got a Dutch oven, so I just sear the meat and then throw it all together in there. So it should be done in about an hour.
Nice. Do you need a crock pot? Like I can get you a crock pot.
No, I have a crock pot. I just didn't know if it'd be big enough for some reason, but
that's what she said.
Never heard that before in my life. So
the sock was asking you that one time.
Game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I
was like, I don't know.
Let's just say the big sock was more comedic relief rather than actual necessity. But don't tell me.
Understood.
Oh boy, we're off to a great start.
Big hats, big brains, big socks, big shoes.
There you go.
Big thoughts and opinions on the current state of the basketball team. Guys, a week where obviously you get the win against Utah against the trigger happy Gabe Madsen. How about that? Oof. The flamethrower was not afraid to shoot as much as he possibly could.
Helped us at the end.
He wasn't afraid to shoot Saturday either when they took down Kansas.
How about that? That's
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Team high, the fall
game high, maybe.
No, it was at Utah.
It was at Utah, yeah. Game high, 24 points, bro. Gabe Madsen. How about that? Shouts to him. And Mason Madsen had that little documentary he had going. Chad, you made a nice little appearance, and then I don't know if you've sat down and watched the hour-long doc with Mason, but
no, when we dapped each other up before the game.
Little dap up made a little YouTube famous Chad Brendel. How about that? For all
That's
the Mason,
I love Mason.
Mason Madsen.
Mason was a good dude.
He was. But that was a win. That was a happy win. That was one of those where it could have been a loss. Honestly,
Wait, was he mic'd up? Did they get our conversation, or was it just like from afar?
I saw a still image of it, but I think it was from afar. I think it was one of those just like montage things, where it's just like, oh shoot, why were you feeding some insider?
I mean, I was just making sure. Like, I don't remember what I said, but I don't want it to be on like an hour-long YouTube documentary.
Yeah,
without, like, I would like the heads up if he had a mic on.
There are some lip readers out there. I'll tell you what, be careful. Be careful. But no, that was earlier in the week, a dub to make it 3 straight, and then came this past weekend. Boy, I tell you what, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree with me is when the Bearcats went down 12 in the first half, the Bearcats of January would have withered away and not been able to ever claw their way back. But no, this is a different brand of Bearcat basketball that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. They fought back, but in the end, it was whistle after whistle after whistle, and a couple more made shots for Iowa State, a couple more offensive rebounds pulled down by the Cyclones as well, and then an 81-70 final score. Chad, you had the aftermath. Aaron, you were absente from the aftermath, so that means I get to get your first thoughts on the BVP about this game, and it is a game as zesty as Aaron Smith could make it, because I know you have the same opinions that I do on what kind of transpired, especially there in that second half.
I keep going back to the weird shit that transpired at halftime when you have a head coach hanging out with the referees. I don't care what you're actually discussing. I don't care if you're asking about a recipe for meatloaf. Like, it doesn't matter. The optics on it were horrendous. And when you have TJ out there crying about the fact that his team was tied up or whatever the score was at halftime, it baffles me that the second half then was called completely different than the first half, and it wasn't called the same.
For one team, it was.
It wasn't called the same both ways. Just you'd let both teams play a pretty physical style of basketball the first half, and all of a sudden we're just calling shit that literally wasn't even there. I don't know what Jizzle's fourth foul was. I feel like there was one on Dylan where I still don't know where it was. And it was certainly not the brand of basketball that you allowed to go in the first half. So what changed your mind to where you're like, oh, this is what we're going to do now? I don't understand. And I don't know. I love basketball, and I feel like you took the game away from the 10 guys who were on the floor at any given moment when you put the game into the 3 guys wearing stripes hands.
Yeah.
Here's the problem, Aaron, and you touched on it briefly. When you allow that to happen, what happened at halftime? When you allow a coach to hold court with an official one-on-one when the court is cleared. Here's the thing. I made some calls yesterday. Cincinnati was unaware that this even happened.
Why would you have been aware? It's right. So stupid.
So, okay, what you allow that to happen as the lead official. Then, even if Cincinnati fouled as much as was called, there appears to be impropriety, because that's not how the game was not called tight in the first half. The game was called, I thought, really well. Like, Tony Padilla is not really on my list of guys that I think stink. Mm-hmm. Like, I've generally thought that he has called pretty good games anytime that he is on a game that I'm watching. So he's not on my list of guys that I'm like, this guy stinks, and you're in danger of having a horribly officiated game.
There was nothing egregious in the first half. None of us look back at the first half and think, what the fuck was even that? Except in the second half, there were about 17 of those moments, especially when you have 5 straight possessions where Iowa State drives every single time and they end up at the foul line every single time, despite there not actually being fouls on some of those possessions. It was bananas.
Yeah. And Aaron,
then
yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. I'll get into it. Go
Well, no,
ahead.
I just had a couple of stats real fast that are along these lines, and just to continue and to stew up everything. You have 2 players that foul out for Cincinnati. It's an uncommon thing because it doesn't happen a lot. And to be honest with you, one is Jizzle James. He's a sophomore. He's played in quite a lot of games up to this point in his college career. It's his
Like
first time
50
ever,
plus games. 50 plus games.
First time ever fouling out. The second guy, yeah, it's as you mentioned, he's played a lot of basketball games. The second guy is Dylan Mitchell. He's a junior right now, and guess what? He's played even more games than
I think
Jizzle
he's played in
James.
100 plus games.
Even more.
100 plus.
Yep, even more games than one. Yeah, 97 to be exact. Very close, Chad. Very close. But he has never fouled out. Both of them fouled out in this game. To continue along these same lines, yes, Iowa State does draw a lot of fouls, but in these games, it's kind of a, and I'm not. This is not like this is the reason why the Bearcats lost scenario, but they did have 4 total games this year where the opposing team had 23 fouls called against them. One was against Auburn, one was against Dayton, one was against Arizona State. Iowa State had 20 fouls against Arizona State. Iowa State had 21 fouls against Dayton. Iowa State had 18 fouls against Auburn. The foul differential was way more than that on Saturday for the Bearcats. So just want to add a little bit more to it. Go ahead, guys. Continue.
6 minutes, 55 seconds left. Day Thomas creates what should have been a steal and layup.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, creates the loose ball, goes to grab the loose ball, has his arm pulled back. Very clearly, has his arm pulled back.
Yeah.
No foul called. Wes Miller reacts because it prevented a situation where Day Thomas is going to the rim to lay the ball in and cut the Iowa State lead to 2.
Yep.
Wes reacts, not crazily, but reacts because they missed a foul call. A clear, obvious foul call that they missed. Wes reacts briefly, then turns around to walk away, and he gets teed up. So instead of it going to 2, they go to the line, they make 2 free throws, it goes to 6 because of the technical. They maintain possession, they hit a 3, and what should have been a 2-point game with under 7 minutes to go, and Cincinnati with all of the momentum, now Iowa State is up 9 with 6:30 left.
My favorite part about that entire thing is after he's teed up and they're shooting the free throw, he looks at the referee and says, "I was right."
Yeah, because he was.
I know he was. You can like literally see his body react as he is jerked backwards while trying to go for it.
Yeah, and Day reacted too as well, which he should have. The whole thing for me as well was that it's not like Wes ran out onto the floor or anything. He was
he just was like, "Hey,"
he was in his coaching box the entire time. And some people say like that's not a time where you can take a technical like that, and
he wasn't trying to get one.
Right, he wasn't trying. Like you can tell when coaches are trying to get one, and when coaches are just reacting to an event where they should react in that way, and that was that way. So
there's probably a dozen moments this season that Wes should have been teed up over that moment.
Oh yeah, and the fact of the matter is, it just got intensified by Momcilovic hitting down that 3 right after they made the two technical free throws. That was the main part that kind of just added to the you can't take a T in that scenario. That was the frustrating side of things right there.
It's my biggest pet peeve in basketball. Official screws up and then penalizes the team that he screwed up. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't call a technical there. You cannot call a technical there.
Right.
You have to let that coach vent for a minute. If he's running out on the court and being a jackass, okay, call it technical. That's not what happened. No. You cannot, under any circumstance, exacerbate that situation by calling a technical and turning what, could have been just a regular change in the game flow and allow it to go from what should have been 2 points to 9 points.
Yeah.
That is that. And I look, we don't talk about the officials much. I will say if I think they're bad, I have said I thought they're bad in wins. I have said I thought they're bad in losses. Those guys are making hundreds of thousands of dollars in 6 months to call a game.
Yeah.
If they do a bad job, I'm going to say I thought they did a bad job. Like, I'm not blaming we have talked about they didn't win because they couldn't win on the offensive glass. They turned it over too much in the second half. They didn't turn Iowa State's turnovers into points. Iowa State did. Like, Iowa State did the little things that they deserved to win the game. But when the official makes a mistake, and that's not even to talk about the way that Jizzle and Dylan were officiated in the second half.
Right.
That's just talking about that one segment, 15 seconds of clock, that took that game from, oh man, there's under 7 minutes left. It's a 2-point game. Like, let's see if Cincinnati can pull this thing out, to Iowa State's in control and really not challenged the rest of the way.
No.
It's bullshit.
And it was. And you go back to Jizzle, where his fourth foul was I believe it was right after he did one of his patented crossovers, make Taman Lipsy fall to the ground. All of a sudden,
it was right before that play,
and
he got a three.
Yeah,
yeah,
yep. And then the very next drive down, you saw Lipsy kind of get that look, like he's going to take Jizzle to the hole. And in my mind, I said, there's going to be a foul call here. 100%, no matter what happens on this play, there's going to be a foul call. Lipsy bumped into Jizzle. Jizzle stood his ground, went back a little bit, and then Lipsy went all the way into Jizzle, and they called a foul. And it was Lipsy initiating the contact. It was everything. But I mean, Lipsy is he's a merchant when it comes to drawing fouls. You know, that entire Iowa State team is kind of in that mold. So for me, I just saw that coming. And then the fifth foul was just off a rebound that was extremely late. You know, just one that was like, if the shot goes in, do they not call the foul? Probably not. The shot didn't go in, so they called a foul.
How about this,
I
Brent?
didn't see it.
How about this? From 9:09 in the game, that's when Dylan Mitchell picked up his fourth foul with 9:09 remaining, to the technical free throws with 6:55 remaining. 2 minutes. 2 minutes of action. Iowa State shot 8 free throws.
Yep. Yeah.
Stupid.
I don't know.
Stupid.
It is. But yeah, for me, it also boils down to the fact that one of the fouls that Dylan picked up, I believe it was his fourth, was a moving screen, where the entire game up to that point had multitudes of moving screens.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. You can't chicken wing,
right
though.
Well, no, I agree. But you know, it's like what you said on Saturday, and what Aaron says a lot is, it's just like call it both ways, because there was multiple opportunities on the other end of the court where we could call Cyclones for a couple of moving screens. So I don't know. It was a tough thing when we had to touch on that, because like Deanna said, like yes, fouls are fouls. They pile up. Iowa State does a good job drawing them, but the foul discrepancy was the main thing that stuck out to me. And of course, you knew heading down the stretch, the final 4 minutes, that we're going to start to even up the foul calls a little bit and call a little bit more ticky-tackies on the Cyclones, just to kind of.
And Bram, this is not true. That's just not true. You are not allowed to put your elbow into somebody and shove them, regardless of their guarding position.
For those of you in the
you cannot
audio
do that as an offensive player.
For those of you in the audio format only, the comment in the comment section here is Jizzle's fourth foul is a foul. Lipsy is drawn all year long. You have to be set in legal guarding position, and Jizzle was not. It doesn't matter who starts the contact if the defender is not legal.
Yeah. You know, and of course, you know, it's bad when you've got a couple of gambling accounts, if you will, on the old X.com or Twitter that I follow. numerous of them tweeted about it, and one is Stucky too. He's got close to 100,000 followers. Since he got a criminal whistle all game, right after the game, he posted that, and a couple other were just talking about it, and it's just when people see it, and it's not just us diehard fans and the media that cover the team and whatnot, then you kind of know things are a little off. Things seem to be a little off on that one. But in the end, it was a game where Cincinnati had chances to win, even with the bum whistle either way. So
the problem is, though, Brent, after it went to 9, it never got closer than 6.
Right.
Final 7, like that segment of 15 seconds determined the game.
Yeah, and Wes even said it in the post game. He didn't mention anything about officiating, but he did mention the fact that Dylan has to kind of change the way he plays when he has 4 fouls. Jizzle has to kind of change the way he plays when he has 4 fouls.
But on the 5th foul, Jizzle didn't touch anybody.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
That was like one of the worst calls I've ever seen. It was almost like, hey, this is their whole offensive attack. Any chance of them having any bit of a comeback and stealing this game lies solely on 2 shoulders. Like, let's get him out of here so that we can appease whatever conversation Mr. Cyclone had with them at halftime.
TJO.
I'm not saying there's a conspiracy. I'm not going that far, but
yeah.
it was the worst. Like, I think it was the worst. Like, the combination of 4 and 5 was one of the worst I've seen in a long time. Yeah. 5th alone is one of the worst fouls I've ever seen called in a game.
Yeah, and like
I don't watch a lot of basketball though. I haven't been watching a lot of college basketball other than the Bearcats, but that was unbelievable.
Royer, when the whistle blew, I was like, wait a minute. They're not going to call a foul on Jizzle here, are they? And then that's why I was like, wait.
And then I thought they were going to walk it back like, oh, wait, no. We meant it was on someone else because, like, there's absolutely nothing there.
Oh,
no hands.
Yeah. They say, did someone else breathe on him? We can't give the Cincinnati Star a foul out at this point in the game, but here we are. Here we damn are. Anything more on the officiating? I mean, I could literally continue to go on and on about it. It was bad. And when you have everyone talking about it, national media talking about it, it's bad when that's the case. As far as the game itself, Ryan, one where, I kind of mentioned it, where first half you get down 12, could have gone away with a win and been down double digits the entire game, and before you know it, lost with ease. But no, this was not the scenario there. I think the score isn't indicative of how close it was for those middle 25, 30 minutes. But either way, it was still an 11-point loss. Your overall thoughts on the game, we'll kind of dive in a little bit more player by player here in a bit.
Yeah, I agree with kind of what you're saying. The fight, like just staying around. I think we've seen this team kind of turn the corner right into the 3-game win streak. We knew they kind of found their stride offensively, kind of meshing a lot better. The rotation, they kind of got in line. They kind of had their guys. We've had our guys stepping up across the board and kind of filling their roles well. And I thought, everyone, we might not have shot the ball as lights out as we had been on the 3-game win streak, but we just played tough. We looked like we belonged. I think that was a team like before this year started, being able to go. We knew that game would be hard to go in there and win, especially Iowa State sitting at 10 in the country. But I didn't feel that at any point in that game that we didn't belong on that court with the Cyclones. So I was proud of like the fight, the effort that we had. I mean, Jizzle is like really starting to, command his kind of rise to the top of the conference in guard play with this 4-game run he's been on. So I think it shows that this team really is kind of finding their path right now, and that's what we need if we want to make a run at this thing in the next 6 games. If we can play like we played that game and take the fouls out of it and have our guys be able to play the full 40 minutes, I don't see why we can't compete and win any one of these games. Obviously, Houston's going to be another tough task, like this game was on the road with a really good team, but I think. I think this team has kind of addressed a lot of the things that the problems they were having kind of chemistry and offensive wise. And I thought it was another example on Saturday of us going in the right direction. And we just got to not let this loss kind of bog us down and kind of use it maybe as like a, hey, we hung in there. We had a lot of things going against us, but we kind of answered the bell at every opportunity we could and stayed right in it. So got to fix that offensive rebounding. There were times where guys just not getting on bodies, giving them like easy putbacks. But yeah, I was impressed with the guys, and gotta find a way to keep playing that style of basketball and make the corrections we need to make on the glass. And I think we'll have every chance to try to go 5-1 here with the teams we got coming up.
We do need to talk a little bit more about Jizzle. This is not all doom and gloom, like you said. He is a man that is on a damn mission right now. So he had the goose egg scoring wise against West Virginia a handful of games ago. It feels like that was like years ago at this point. But in the 4 games since the goose egg against West Virginia, he's averaging 22.3 points per game, shooting 63.5% from the field. He's 13 to 23 from 3, 56.5%, and he's averaging just a tick under 4 assists per game. Aaron, coming into the season, it was all about, there's no alpha for Cincinnati. That's going to be the main thing that bogs them down as the season goes on. It took 20 games to get there, but it definitely seems like the alpha is right there on main screen right now, and a chance for him to continue this blazing last couple of weeks through the rest of the season.
This was the guy that we were begging for the whole season. I don't know what it took for him to get right. Apparently, pizza party with dodgeball. I don't know. I don't even know if we're still not allowed to say that. Not really sure.
I think it's a big no.
That's fine. So maybe it could have been that. I'm gonna guess it probably wasn't that. But at some point, water finds its level, right? You play to the back of your basketball card, if you will, and we expected him to take a step forward. To your point, it took 20 games for him to take not one step forward, but several steps forward. And it's coincided almost in stride with the rise of Josh Reed. So it's more than just Jizzle elevating his game. I think you've also seen some other guys elevating their game. The one constant that's remained constant the entire season has been Dylan Mitchell. His offensive production has fallen off a little bit in lieu of Jizzle stepping up, in lieu of some of the bench stepping up. That said, it's good to see. You've almost seen, as Jizzle has taken his stride forward, you've almost seen the whole team, outside of one player in particular, also step forward. And should the guy who many expected to be, I don't know, the best player on the team, if he could do anything at this point, I think that would be appreciated by everyone. Actually, the coaching staff, the players, the fans, the national talking heads, everyone would be happy with that.
Yeah. Before we get on to him, I do want to mention, Chad, anything more on Jizzle? I don't know if you're there, but it seems like
It's been great.
Maybe it was just like a lot of it. I feel like, because Wes was continuously asked about Jizzle, and his response stayed the same throughout the entire year. He's like, I don't have one worry about Jizzle James. He says, he even gave his patented, he's coming, just wait. And because he's seen the work he puts in, he's seen the shots that have fallen throughout the offseason. So confidence that Florida Air when he head down to Orlando,
the biggest thing for me, if you watch, is he's not going sideways anymore.
Yeah.
Like he's not playing backwards and taking the team out of their offense. He's turning the corner and at least holding his ground.
Right.
And not, veering off out towards like the bench. Like he was doing that way too often. He would come off the high ball screen and he would just kind of drift, and he would let the defense dictate. And now you're 30 feet from the basket, almost on the sideline, and you got to reset the entire offense at that point in time with 14 seconds on the shot clock. Like, he's not letting that happen anymore.
Yep. And I want to quickly touch on Day as well. I believe since he's been inserted in the starting lineup, he's averaging 13 points per game. He's shooting 45% from the field, but 38% from three. The team high 4.2 assists in that 5-game stretch since being inserted into the starting lineup against West Virginia the first time around. He seems to also be that additional piece that just adds the intensity level up, just pushes everyone's play up a little bit as well. Obviously he had the big three when the team went down 12 in the first half to kind of stymie the run that Iowa State put on. It seems like he's also, him and Jizzle together, it's fun to watch, and then they can kind of stagger lineups after that. So those two in the backcourt, dynamic starting five. Now we get to the bad stuff again. Rebounding. This is obviously, Wes mentioned, this was the biggest bugaboo he thought from the game, and it's going back to all the games that Iowa State has played this season. This is the largest rebounding margin for them that they've won, and that includes all the cupcakes that they've played up to this point in the year. Cincinnati just really, really struggled on the boards again this past Saturday. Another scenario where, obviously Dylan had the foul trouble that kind of hurts the rebounding. Aziz a little interesting on why he wasn't able to, but the backside boards is what Wes kept on mentioning, and that's when I'm going to bring up Dan Skillings Jr. Little fun fact: last year against Iowa State, Dan Skillings Jr. had 13 points and 11 rebounds against the Cyclones. 11 rebounds, 7 defensive. Yep. On Saturday, he had 1.1 rebound in 14 minutes, which is his lowest minute total of the season. Howard, he was injured, coming back from injury, so don't really mention it there. He averaged 28 minutes per game last year, third on the team. The final 12 games of the season, when he was put into the starting five, he averaged 32 minutes per game. Led the team in scoring last year. It just, so many things just boggle my mind about what happened to Dan Skillings. But his mid-range shot was, I think, one of the bigger backbreakers of the entire game. You're up 3, you have a chance to add to it, chance to get momentum a little bit on your side. He shoots a mid-range jumper extremely early in the shot clock, probably 22 seconds left on the shot clock. It clanks, and he misses the defensive assignment of the other way down. And Iowa State kind of got back into it, built a lead.
You mean his patented hand up as he's running and falling out of bounds? That's not good defense?
No, it is not. I just don't know. I think a lot of the rebounding woes that the team faces in certain games is because he has become completely non-existent.
I'm not going to scapegoat him for that in the defensive rebounding problems in this game, because it was nobody was boxing out. No. Like there was just somebody standing on the backside waiting for the ball to come to them, like every other missed shot. Like they're just standing. Like they had 2 offensive rebounds in a possession. Got it? And not like they're playing volleyball at the rim. Like they got an offensive rebound, they moved the ball, they got a shot goes up, another offensive rebound. That's what created Dylan's 4th foul, was on the second offensive rebound in a possession. He's scrambling. I didn't think it was a foul, but like he was, scrambling to recover. Like, I'm not going to blame Dan for that, because that was a team effort. No, they collectively did not box out at anywhere close to a competent level. They got their ass kicked. Iowa State sent bodies, and those bodies overwhelmed Cincinnati on the defensive glass.
Yeah, I agree. Dan averaged 6.4 rebounds per game last year. It was second on the team behind Aziz.
He's terrible.
Now, it just adds to it. I don't know. There's going to be who knows what, but that is the one part of the game where, you take away that third rebounder behind Dylan and behind Aziz, and now all of a sudden you need others to fill the void, and no one's really been able to step up and fill that void. So the rebounding was very, very bad. You add that with the whistles that we've already mentioned, and that is the ultimate snowball to a loss. But yeah, there's still a good chance, because like Ryan was saying, they came out, they played hard, they had a chance to actually win the game. And then some things went against them, and all of a sudden now they added a loss. But a loss at Iowa State is not anything to like be ashamed of. Nope, it's very rare that teams go into Hilton Coliseum and come out with a win. So I don't know anything more on this here. Obviously the Josh Reed development continues to send shockwaves throughout the fan base. Aaron, would you like to step up on the
Grail
pedal?
went nuts every time Josh did anything. Rebound, steal, made three. Like the Grail went bananas every time Josh did something. He has become the Ryan Royer of the men's basketball team.
It's insane.
That is not. He is light years ahead of production. I love it that he's energy, man. It's a beam. He's been a beam of hope in the dark times before this 3-game win streak, and he's been I think he's been a large part of
for sure,
this kind of resurgence. It's an example of a guy that kind of got like forgotten about on the roster for all this talent, all this skill, all these guys coming back. We paid a bunch of guys a bunch of money. I'm sure Josh was at the bottom of the totem pole in terms of all that stuff. And, to see him kind of just get better, kind of believe in himself. And you could just watch the bench when he plays. Anytime he does anything, it's like the guys love it. And seeing him kind of like step in and emerge and kind of, I guarantee you, he didn't think he was going to perform at the level he's playing at, but it's kind of just a boost of confidence to go around everyone on the team. And, that game versus Utah, when he was just, filling it up, man. It brought me out of my seat a couple of times. I was there at the game, and it was something, man. And it's, he's going to be a guy that's going to keep, pulling us through some, make a big bucket, make a big stop, get a steal. I love everything he's doing.
Aaron, you wanna get up on the soapbox and let's hear it. Josh.
Well, first off, what's his count to now, Chad? Is it 813?
Yeah, no, he was at 812 and he had 6 more, so he's at 806. So 804 points away from 1,000.
We need that whiteboard.
We do. I need to buy one at the store, and we'll update it every game.
the quest to 1,000.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I was probably, I don't know if I was the president of the anti-Josh Reed club, but I was certainly a loud-speaking member of said club. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the team, especially in light of the fall off of Dan Skillings that still just has
Maybe Josh took Dan's powers.
He took his secret stuff.
He took his soul.
Now we're on.
Yeah, while Dan was sleeping one night, Josh came in and like.
Well, isn't there some sort of like magic that some people with rocks do? Like, is that something?
Yeah.
That you can do, like with crystals and I mean, he is a geologist. Just saying. But no, I'm happy for him. Just at the end of the day, we're critical because we want to see the team win. We're critical because we want to see players elevate. And Josh has done everything that's been asked of him and more. He's made a monumental leap over the course of this season.
Yeah.
You are correct, Bram. An Iowa State podcast said Josh one of the best wing defenders in the Big 12. That is true. That is how he has gotten on the floor, is because they've slipped a little bit defensively and they needed somebody to step up, and that got him on the floor. And then the more he's been on the floor, the more comfortable he's been offensively and has now kind of become a guy that can help you on both ends.
Yeah,
It's still one of the ugliest shots I've ever seen.
that is
The
a
rainbow three.
rainbow, man. I tell you what, and like when he puts it up, it's because I heard Keegan mention it last on the aftermath. Like last year, it was probably 8 times out of 10 an air ball. Like, so what?
Yeah.
4 out of 5. But no, this time it's starting to fall through. And yeah,
I need to ask this, Deanna. She said on Saturday that no one had this Josh or this Dan on their bingo card. Who are these people with bingo cards? I keep hearing about nobody had this on their bingo card. Who are these people that just have bingo cards that they're crossing stuff off? I would like to meet these people that sit at home and watch the game with the bingo card.
I have one. Bingo's
What's the
great.
prize?
Bingo's a lot of fun. That
Yeah,
cover
what do we
all at
win?
the end, sometimes that's some big money. All you bingo fans out there know what I'm talking about. But yeah,
Did you have 11 and a half?
I did.
Woo!
It's one of those-
11.
It's one
Never
of
a
those
sweat.
emotional.
Never a
it's
sweat.
It's like the Alonzo Mourning, gif where he's like, mm. you know what I'm talking about here. But yeah, it's whatever. It sucked. I hate the fact that, because I know a lot of the fan base. I know what every single one of you here in this room right now felt for a second. It was like, okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna damn go on the road and pull off this Q1A win that we desperately need. This is unbelievable. Keep the vibes rolling, but no, it did not.
Ron, woosah, as my girl Dochi would say.
No,
I know Ron's into Dochi. Ron's into Dochi.
Dochi's got some hits, man.
I love
got
Dochi.
some good flow.
Royer, what do you think? You into Dochi?
I haven't tapped into it yet. I've been hearing all the hype, but I kind of missed the boat right now.
He's still on Sabrina Carpenter. He's working his way there eventually.
You got it.
I've been on Gracie Abrams. My girlfriend introduced me to her.
She's good.
I really like her
with,
music.
With Taylor.
Oh yeah,
Taylor when we were there.
Yeah,
smart girlfriend.
Yeah, but what do you know about Baby Shark and Coco Melon?
Oh God,
I tell you,
that's all I got all day.
Aaron, what about Bluey?
Praying for you.
You like Bluey?
She's falling off the Bluey train a little bit.
Did you watch Nighttime Bluey? That episode, boy, oh boy, let the waterworks fly. That episode of Bluey is, oh wow. Talk about pulling on the heartstrings. I tell you what. Sometimes I just watch that when I need a little bit of a cry. It makes me feel good inside. But anyway, yeah, this game it's tough because Bearcats need that signature win. They don't have it as of right now. So chances for it to happen. One coming up on Wednesday night. Just real quick, Cincinnati, 13th best offense in the last 2 weeks in the country. How about that? 99th best defense, though. 288th in defensive rebounding percentage. So, Chad, you talked about it a lot, and you like to use these metaphors sometimes. You plug one hole, the other, the water starts pouring out of another thing. Scenarios like that. Can you see with the current makeup and how things are going over the last 2 weeks where the brand of basketball is beautiful aesthetically to watch? Obviously the scoring, the shooting, the up and down, kind of just the flow is definitely up. Defense has been a little bit down. Rebounding has been definitely down. Outside of the the BYU game, they did solid. Utah game, they did solid. Do you think that this current trajectory of where offense is really blowing up is the right recipe to take in on Wednesday as the Mountaineers welcome the Bearcats to town and pretty much a must win for the tournament host for the Bearcats?
Yeah, it's a must win. Because if not, then you have to win at Houston, and they're not winning at Houston. That would be the most surprising outcome of the decade if they go into Houston the way Houston is playing right now and get a win. So, you need to go to West Virginia and beat West Virginia. I mean, and if they play offense like they've been playing offense the past 4 games,
Right.
they can absolutely beat West Virginia.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But they can't, it got into a rock fight type deal when West Virginia was here. So West Virginia has a very good defense. They're physical. They play an aggressive style. They do a good job taking you out of your stuff and kind of making you play a little bit more one-on-one. But if they can get in the 70s, they can beat West Virginia, I think.
Chad and Aaron, you're all over these Big 12 recaps with Chad on the nightcaps. West Virginia's lost 6 of 8. They're starting to kind of get. I don't know if it's as teams are starting to figure them out now. Obviously DeVries is out for the season, but it's Small is still trying to do his thing here and there. But their 2 wins in the last 8 games are against Utah and then of course Cincinnati. They almost beat Baylor in a game that a lot of Cincinnati fans had the ill pleasure of watching because they had to watch the overtime all the way through the first 15 minutes of the game on Saturday. But what's your recipe to flipping the script and kind of doing what they did to BYU, where BYU kind of exposed them roughly, and then all of a sudden Cincinnati flipped the script and took it to BYU at home, but now this time it's going to be West Virginia on the road.
It's the same exact plan you had the last time you played West Virginia. You have to stop Javon Small. Period. End dot.
And so they haven't done that at all, ever playing
ever.
Javon Small.
Yeah. Easier said than done.
It's not complicated. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel here. You just have to stop their best player from scoring 20 plus, even 15. Like, if you can hold him to 15, you're in a really good spot, I think. Because generally,
think we could throw Josh on him.
No.
Get Josh out there. Get a little bit of.
No.
You don't think he can handle it?
He's more of a guard than a wing. He's got a serious quickness advantage on Josh that I don't think you would want to. I think you just put Day on him and say, "Hey,
good luck.
Do everything you can."
Gosh, that is actually crazy. His last game as a Pirate from East Carolina. You know those East Carolina Pirates all too well, Ryan. He scored 23 points at Fifth Third Arena, and then of course, as an Oklahoma State Cowboy, 19 points at Fifth Third Arena. Then of course, earlier this year, as a West Virginia Mountaineer, another 19 points. Golly, he does what? But all of those at Fifth Third Arena. So maybe it's the whole on the road thing that kind of stems the tide in the Bearcats' way. So, yeah. We'll see what happens. It's a 7 p.m. tip. I'm sure Aaron will continue to talk even more about this one as him and George take things down on George of the Jungle tomorrow night, among other things to talk about there. But
Natty Ron, we've talked about it. I do not think we will see Connor again this year.
And also one thing, Natty Ron, you said 5-1 the rest of the way. You don't think that leads to the tournament? I think it does.
10-10 in conference will get them in.
Yeah, absolutely. And no bad losses. Zero bad losses. A lot of go look at the bubble right now, Natty Ron. Break it down. All those teams have some rough losses. This Bearcat team, before UCF magically switched back to a quad 1 game overnight, they led the country in quad 2 wins, which is like a pretty funny, crooked stat. But now they have 8 quad 2 wins, which is 7 quad 2 wins, which is still one of the best in the country with the 1 quad 1 win. So Wednesday presents another quad 1 win. So we'll see what happens. You guys want to timestamp this sucker and we can hop into my favorite damn segment in the world?
I mean, I guess we can. We can. This timestamp brought to you by Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They service over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next day deliveries. They provide a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
Boom, baby. Gosh, Ryan, get your new riff out. Day off. Get that 3-finger pour going, baby.
New Riff, fiercely independent and unabashedly innovative. New Riff produces award-winning bourbon, rye whiskey, and gin at their distillery in Newport, Kentucky. The Aquafire Tasting Room, located on the 3rd floor of the distillery, features cocktails, flights and pours of New Riff's entire line of spirits, including rare, limited edition, and distillery exclusive releases. Bearcat Journal listeners can save 50% on distillery tours when you use the code Bearcats24. For more information or to book a tour, visit newriffdistilling.com.
All right. Let's start off with a little over-under action on Mr. Hot Hand himself, Jizzle James. Over-under 17.5 versus the Mountaineers.
Over.
Over? You don't think they're going to try to focus all attack?
My point of view. Yeah. My point of view is he had a goose egg against West Virginia game 1. So he's taking this one personally. I think Edge is gonna send him a wild text, and it's gonna fire Jizzle up. Gonna fire Jizzle up, right, Chad? But yeah, no, I think over 17 now.
The only hesitancy I have is the fact that if Simas doesn't play, that takes a viable threat off the floor. But I'm still with everybody. I think he's too hot right now to not go over.
What you thinking, Ryan?
I kind of saw him kind of sitting right in that 16 to 18 range. So, you know, I'd like to see him go over, but I also like to see some other guys step up offensively and not because I feel like we were riding on him a lot. He was like our sole dynamic side of offense versus Iowa State. But yeah, I'd love to see him go over. I think he's going to sit like right on it, like 17, 18, 19, right around there. If he gets to the line, I think he'll get – if he gets to the line like six times, I think he'll – 6 free throws, not 6 times. I think he'll definitely get over that 17.5. But that kind of segues me right into – so I know that he's been, you know, kind of leading the way. Who do you guys think the second leading scorer of the game is going to be?
First off, quick trivia time. Who was the top 3 scorers in that first West Virginia game, which was the ugliest game I think I've seen the Bearcats play in quite some damn time? Top 3 scorers in that game.
If I recall correctly, Day had 10. Nobody else was in double figures.
Correct. Yes.
So
is it Aziz?
Day, Dylan, and Aziz.
Day, Simas with 8. Rayvon Griffith was 7.
Yeah, that's right. And then Dylan, I'm looking at it now. Dylan also had 6, and so did Dan.
God, that was when that was that Sunday where it was like, all right, BBP coming on Monday gonna be rough. But
who do we have? We had a guest. Was
Titus
that Bishel?
It was Bishel. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Bishel. So that because we didn't want to talk about it at all.
How about the GOAT Bishel, man? I can't wait to talk about that. We got a little time. Second leading scorer on Wednesday. Day for me. I just think they're gonna ride that wave of Jizzle and Day until it stops. I think those two have just been obviously Jizzle's been going off, but Day-Day's been right there with shots and with point production over the last handful of games.
Dylan's his offensive production's fallen off a cliff lately. I'm curious if it has to do with the knee when he hyperextended it or whatever he did several weeks ago now.
Is that UCF, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb, though. I'm going to say Josh.
Oh, wow.
I think he's going to see an uptick in minutes, regardless if Seamus is good to go or not. Either way, there's going to be some extra minutes there because he won't go full if he is nursing something. And he's been too hot not to play, especially if you're trying to slow down West Virginia. And I think he's going to get some opportunity because I think that he is not at the top of the scouting report. So
that was a little teaser for the next question here.
I think Chad's going to do it. Dan Skillings Jr. 15 points.
the rest of the season?
I mean, you're right, Aaron. Dylan scored 19 against UCF and has scored 14 in the 3 games since. I want to say CMOS, but I just that's not, it doesn't sound serious, like threatening, like missing like the rest of the season or anything of that nature, but it's an injury to a shooting shoulder. Like, even if it's just a bruise or it's sore or whatever, that's not the spot that you want to have a guy like him injured. So I think Dylan gets back on track. I think Dylan has a good game, gets back on track, and is at like 13, 14 points, something like that.
I'd love it. I'd love it.
Yeah, me too. Especially because West Virginia kind of they kind of cater to the ability to kind of create some of that point production down low. So,
yeah,
I mean that first game, man. Oh, team's gonna come out with a bad taste in their mouth. Royer, who you got? Second leading scorer.
I was kind of on the fence on Day and CMOS, but with this kind of pending CMOS type of, I think if CMOS can play and he's unhindered, I think it's going to be him. But I mean, if he's kind of rolling out there, game time decision, kind of trying to play through it, I'm going to lean more towards Day, and then if he doesn't play, definitely Day as well. But yeah.
And how much did that suck, by the way? Like, CMOS looked like he was starting to really come back.
He hit 3 threes, damn it.
Right. He was like on the verge of like making 2 more down the stretch, and before you know it, it's like the boys got 17 points and the Bearcats are within 1 heading into the final segment. But no. We just can't have good things. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah.
We can't.
Aaron mentioned Josh Reed, so question number 3. Josh Reed over under 2.5 threes.
Ooh, good
Wednesday
question.
night.
Good question.
Perfect line. That is a perfect line for that dude. I'm over.
Wow.
Trays.
How far I've come.
How far you have come, man.
All aboard.
Choo choo. The hype train is rolling. Josh has hit more than 2 threes in a total of 2 games out of his 87 game career.
Now let's put that out there. All right, CMOS doesn't play over under 2.5 threes.
Well, no, that's like a fair over under though, because at UCF, against BYU, he was 1 of 3. Against Utah, he was 3 of 4. Then at Iowa State, 2 of 4. So I mean, it's like, it's not far fetched of a over under. Oh, good morning.
Sorry.
Hot roast is done.
Pot roast is done.
Yes. Honey, the pot roast. Back.
We want it now.
I actually do have to yell down.
I never know what she's doing back there.
Oh. Lip readers. Honey, sweetheart.
Never know what she's doing back there.
Friday was great. Love you, Valentine. Get that pot roast out. I'm still going under. One thing I did forget to mention during our conversation, and Chad and Aaron, I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this real fast, is 19 minutes played by Tyler Betsy on Saturday. Most he's played in Big 12 play. Only got up 2 shots, though. Are you guys on the side where you want to see him kind of maybe force some shots? Coming as he is the shot maker, that it's kind of the role that he was supposed to, that he has had throughout the season.
I don't want to see anybody force shots, Brent.
Well, not like force, but like he
But that's what you said.
Okay.
Do I want to see him force shots?
He had a shot. He had a shot that was a little bit deep, but the defender was giving it to him on Saturday, and he didn't shoot it. That's what I mean by like take that shot. Like he seemed like he was very, very selective with his shot selection on Saturday. I want to see him get a little bit more than just 2 shots up.
I think to counter your point, I think he is very selective on his footwork and his he does not shoot when he's not ready to shoot.
Fair.
And I think that's what makes him such an excellent shooter is that generally, even when he's taken some deep ones, he's had his rhythm. He's been like shoulder square, feet set, like he's been in good shot preparation mode.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want him forcing it necessarily, but if he can squeeze one off, I want him to if he's in rhythm, I want him to take it because he has got as pure a shot as I've seen around these parts in quite a while.
Absolutely. Agreed. Chad, what are you doing on the over-under 2.5?
I'll go under, but I'm curious to see if he starts, hunting his 3 ball a little bit because he's shooting it so well right now. I thought we were going to get a heat check in the first half against Iowa State. I thought he was going to try to just gun one that he ended up passing.
Mm-hmm.
He is not a guy that is going to be a volume guy. He's going to take really, really good ones. So I think that limits him getting, 3.
Yeah.
But I mean, we did see in that BYU game, he was at Utah, whichever one. It was BYU, wasn't it? First half.
Well, he won against BYU.
It was Utah then. It was
Utah.
Where, you could tell he was feeling it. He was ready to let that go as soon as it touched his fingers.
Yep.
So, if he hits his first one, he could go over, but I'm gonna say 2. I'll stick with 2. Purest shot since TBT Trevor Moore. You shut your face, Tucker.
I saw that comment and I wanted to throw up immediately.
Blowing kisses to the crowd. Royer, you're taking the over.
Oh man, I got him at 2 threes.
Royer's
I think he's going to hit.
I've got him at 2.
I think he's going 2 for 3,
Okay.
and they're big ones.
Big ones.
They're taking us from a 6-point lead to a 9-point lead. Both times. Write it down.
Okay. Boom. Okay. There we go. You got another one?
I actually was waiting on you to kind of release the dragon hair on.
I know.
On that one we were texting about. When we had all the hope in the world.
Yeah.
And we cut it to 1.
No.
Or after Jizzle step back.
Yeah, you were texting me weird stuff on Saturday. I was more thinking about our text from last night. You were kind of you were in your feels a little bit. You were in your feels. I was too. I was too far away, so I did send you that virtual hug. Did that get to you? Did you get that virtual hug?
I always do, man.
You two are weird.
God, you're weird. It is. You give warm hugs, brother. But you were saying you were watching that Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary because you didn't want to watch the NBA All-Star game because you said I'm confused, Brent. Why are there 3 different games for one NBA All-Star game? And I was like, I don't know, man. Did Mac McClung win the dunk contest again? You were like, yeah, bro. And I was like, all right, that's weird. And then so you're like, I'm watching this SNL 50th anniversary. And I said, okay, cool. I'll turn it on. So I turned it on. And then you were like, dude, SNL is funny, man. I love it a lot. What is your favorite ever SNL skit or musical performance? And I was like, wow, dude. Hell of a question. Let me think about it. and let's ask it on the BBP. Let's spread the love, spread the wealth, and see what everyone has to say. Favorite Saturday Night Live performance, skit, or musical, anything. What you got?
Just from last night?
From last night, from forever, anything. Favorite.
Forever. Oh man. Boy.
You can do a couple.
I've got a lot. Like I was always a big Saturday Night Live guy as a kid. So the James Brown, Eddie Murphy hot tub. In a hot tub, will it make me wet? In the hot tub, will it make me sweat? Feel good in the hot tub. That's always a favorite. Pretty much anything with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Like I think he was the GOAT. He was the best ever on Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
All of it. Gumby, when Gumby got shot, or when Buckwheat got shot, and Gumby would,
Yeah.
No, they weren't. I'm confusing too. Buckwheat, he was Buckwheat. Buckwheat got shot. Gumby, damn it. James Brown, Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. Anything with Eddie Murphy was classic for me. The one last night with Will Ferrell, Eddie Murphy, and Kenan Thompson.
Yeah.
Was hilarious.
Yeah. Will Ferrell's hilarious.
Yeah. Will Ferrell's great. Like he had the short shorts on and he's leaning into Domingo's face with his nuts right there. And you can see the dude kind of like, come on, Will. Get a little close with those. Toonsis the Driving Cat. I'm a big Toonsis the Driving Cat fan. I'm all like 80s, like a lot of the 80s stuff was, that's when I was a kid. So I love those. And then, Farley, all the Farley stuff was great.
Oh yeah.
Like I could go on and on for like hours on SNL.
Oh, great.
I was huge.
Last
SNL
night was hilarious. There were some good ones. I agree with what Sean's saying, kind of the millennial favorites, the Bill Hader and the Californians. I think that those are just like Fred Armisen is just hilarious. Kristen Wiig, love her. You okay?
I'm just laughing about all the Will Ferrell ones. They're so funny.
They're so dude, go ahead.
The Prospector one, the Baseball Dad, those ones are so funny. I can't here.
Did I watch In Living Color, Ron? Are you kidding me? I don't think so. Homie, don't play that.
Oh, the
homie, the clown, never mess around.
The Jeopardy,
Celebrity Jeopardy,
yeah,
hilarious.
He's just trying.
The best Jeopardy ones were when Sean Connery would always do read the things wrong.
Yeah.
I'll take Schwartz. That's S word.
Sexual.
Yeah, the tits for 200. That's Let It Snow. No, it's not.
That's the sound your mother made last night.
Yeah.
The one where they're like the fashion designers. That I just watched the compilation of all his best ones the other week. When they have the little tiny phones. And they're
yeah.
Oh my god, it's so the baseball dad always gets.
What do you guys know about Pete's sweaty balls?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think you guys are too young.
I know that one.
I
know that one. With Alec Baldwin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Alec Baldwin. Anna Gasteyer, Alec Baldwin.
They're like talking like this the whole time.
Yeah. You're here to talk about your sweaty balls. Can I hold them?
But that was awesome last night. I just wanted to.
It was great. I didn't watch a single second of the NBA stuff. I watched SNL 50 all night.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I had them on previous channel, and obviously it did the thing where it synced perfectly, where it was a commercial on both channels the entire time, which was what it was. But the one time where the NBA All-Star game was going on, it was just like horrible. Like they're
Yeah.
gonna have to scrap this little thing that they're
Yeah.
doing like right now. Like it's done.
I think next year they're talking about doing one-on-one tournament, which I think actually might be interesting because nobody wants to get beat one-on-one.
No. The only time I saw that it was fun to watch was when the G League, like the Rising Stars team was up a little bit, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, we got to come back. But anyway,
let's go, Hunter. Welcome back, baby.
Hunter might be our little good luck charm right here. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Speaking of
Hunter, where are you? Are you in Cincinnati? Where are you back to now that you're back in the US? We're getting to baseball, Ron. We're gonna have a baseball segment. I promise. We're riffing with Royer right now.
Speaking of USA, Hunter, thank you very much, by the way. But speaking of USA, how about that what is it? The Four Nations face-off? That was electric on Saturday.
I just saw the fight. That's all I saw. I saw the fight.
3 fights in the first 6 minutes.
9 seconds.
9 seconds.
Yeah.
9 seconds.
Yeah.
The Kachuk brothers laying it down.
Let's go. And then Barstool tweeted out that little with Freebird. Oh my gosh, it's the greatest little thing. You get the goose pimples all throughout your body. You feel
There
good.
you go.
Little goosebumps. But yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Royer. You really tied everything together, man. That was a great job.
Thanks, Brian. Couldn't do it without you, man.
How about the Will Ferrell and Sherry O'Terry, the cheerleaders?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
That was always great.
Hilarious.
Wes Miller. I mean, Molly Shannon.
That was good.
Superstar. Yeah.
Night the Roxbury.
All of it.
I gotta work with Wes. We gotta get him away from this. That's all I see when he does it.
He's pissed. Pissed.
All right, let's talk. Let's timestamp. Brought to you as always by our good friends at Quick Paper Supply. They provide mostly disposable restaurant supplies, to-go containers, cups, pizza boxes, to-go bags, can liners, napkins. They've been open since 2009 and are one of the largest minority-owned companies in the city. Call Nick, 513-470-2029, and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
Boom. Now, the thing everyone wants to talk about, which is also like a phenomenal story up to this point. But the season's so young, guys. So young. But I'm fired up. And there's no reason to not be fired up as of right now. 2-1 is the record for your Cincinnati Bearcats baseball team. Jordan Bischel, the GOAT. Go listen to his podcast with us from a few weeks ago. He's the man. He's simply the man. Off camera, he's even better, if you can believe it. Just a great guy. Bishop Ball is taking over. As you saw, Game 1, Bishop Ball was on full display. Game 2 was a thriller, ended in a walk-off for Duke, whatever, Blue Devils, whatever. Then, Sunday, I was watching it on a beach bar, had a tasty cold one, as before you know it, it's just run after run after run. And it's 19 runs later. If you told me one of these two teams was ranked, one of these two teams made the tournament last year, one of these two teams has numerous preseason All-Americans on their roster, one of these two teams is one of their favorites to win their conference this season, I would have said, wow, I think that visiting team in the red and black is the one that fits all of those lines. Simply amazing. Hunter, you want to go ahead and read that? Whoever brought that up.
Said he's in Texas finishing up, but lives in Oxford. The wife's in a doctorate program there. You let me know next time you're back in Cincinnati, Hunter. We're going to take you out.
Boom.
It might just be me. These guys aren't ever around.
Yeah.
But
if I'm in town, I'll take you out. There we go.
You got a spot at my table at the next watch party at the Holy Grail, Hunter.
Let's go. But in the end, It was a 2-1 win, taking the series win against a ranked opponent, and the baseball Bearcats are ranked for the first time ever. Number 25 came out fresh off the press, and I tell you what, guys, there's no better team to rally around right now, only 3 games into the season, than Coach Jordan Bishel and these Bearcats. I mean, this weekend it's just, these games are fun to watch. Your thoughts, as obviously we're 3 games in of a very long season, but there's excitement brewing around the program that's never ever been there before, it seems.
They just play a fun brand of baseball. It's fun.
Yeah, Dave put out a tweet, I believe, from the Bearcat Journal account. I think that summed it all up. I mean, they play a different brand of baseball. With the bunting and it's essentially he compared it to the triple option. Dave did, and I don't think that it's a terrible comparison. It's the brand of baseball they play is really different than what most teams do, and you're not going to see it all too often. But they can hit the long ball, but they can also bunt for hits. They can play small ball. They can steal bases. They play aggressive, and it's maddening for other teams.
6 bunt hits, 3 sacrifice bunts, 3 suicide squeezes, 7 stolen bases, I think 8 hit by pitch, 20 walks, 35 runs. Like, I don't know what else you could ask for. They apply relentless pressure offensively. Like, there is always something a defense has to worry about from this bunch. I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah. Roy, were you able to take any of the Bearcat baseballers out there?
I didn't get to watch any of the games, but I mean, it's a great way to play college baseball. It's get your guys in scoring position, get them on base, and, move them around.
Put the ball in play.
Put the ball in, because we have guys that can hit the long ball. Like, what is it?
Carrington Cross.
Carrington Cross.
Cross. We got that O'Connor guy that have proven themselves last year, and Cross already stepped up with what he hit, like 438, 2 home runs or whatever I saw on Twitter.
2 taters.
Yeah. And we got guys who can do that, but what's really going to win you games in college, because it's not like the big leagues where it's all about just slugging. It's getting your guys on base, make these pitchers pitch you, put the ball in play, steal runs by getting into scoring positions with steals. I love it. It's the way you got to play, because, coming into the Big 12, we're still a fresh team. We might not be caught up in recruiting in comparison to the other teams. So we gotta let our guys kind of find ways to even the playing field, so to say, in terms of talent. And it's a great style to play. And I think Bishel's definitely pushing the right buttons, and you can see just the way we kind of showed out and really dominated that series against a team that, you guys were mentioning, that really had a lot of promise to start the year in Duke. So it's good, man. We need every bit of hope we can get across Bearcat sports right now. I know the women's basketball team has had a great year, kind of stepping off the tough year they had last year. And now we got baseball having a good start. So it's great. It's great to see. I mean, I love Bishel. When we got to talk to him the past couple times, and his style of baseball, it's kind of that hard-nosed, gritty style. And I think it's going to mesh well with the guys. They can keep, buying into it and getting guys on base. They're going to find their way home with that type of play. So shout out to the boys. It's awesome.
It is awesome. And the thing is, the entire, and they mentioned it numerous times on the broadcast, was that the team is like locked in throughout the entire game. Like they're all standing right on the fence in the dugout, all cheering, all constantly just engaged. Like this early in the season, one team was very ready and prepared to put up a fight and like kind of be in mid-season form, if you will. And the other team just kind of seemed like they were in that early year, just, trying to feel it out. And obviously it was really just one bad inning throughout the entire 3-game stretch. over the
They had
weekend.
one bad inning Saturday, and that was
Yeah.
it.
That was it, and all the rest are just solo home runs that Duke had. The bullpen is obviously going to continue to be like a work in progress, if you will. But there's numerous guys that stepped up. A lot of the transfers came in and showed what they can do. The feeling is just that, I don't know. Like I said, it's fun to watch. You know, they get hit by pitches. They learn how to just get on base and then advance the base. And also defensively, if you watch the games, there were numerous times where it seemed like, okay, Duke might be ready to put on a bit of a rally, maybe one out, man on first and third, and they get a big double play to end the inning, or you know, something to just kind of stymie any effort that the Blue Devils had, especially on Sunday, where they kind of just completely clamped down and shut the door in a big way. I mean, 19 runs against the number 11 team in the country is just something that you don't really see. So our ranking is awesome, but you know, I think Bishop will have the right approach and be like, listen, guys, we haven't done anything. You know, sure, ranked is good, but now we got a target on our back because, I mean, you talk to him, he knows his ways to get the team fired up. So it's a great start. I think there was supposed to be a game tomorrow that got canceled, I believe. So they're back
it's
at
be
it
like
again.
12 degrees.
That's what I heard. Quite the fridge. Where can you watch? It's going to be a lot on ESPN Plus, I believe. Go on GoBearcats.com.
Generally, ESPN Plus.
These last ones you had to just go on ACC network.
It was on ESPN Plus. That's part of ESPN Plus.
Yeah, but you had to I had to click a lot of different links, but it worked out. It ended up working out. But yeah, that was pretty much. I wasn't able to get it on the Hulu screen. I was on my laptop and phone, but man, it was a lot of fun watching those games transpire. Anything more on the baseball, guys? I mean, obviously 3 games in, it's would you say this is kind of like an early season MTE, like where you face?
No, I mean, it was at Duke's place. Like that. This
Well,
is
no,
how.
right.
But this is how baseball works, Brett. Like you can't play games in Cincinnati now.
No. Yeah.
So you got to travel east and south
Yeah.
to get any games in. But this is the type of game. I think this is more what you're getting at. This is the type of game that if they put together a good resume,
this is exactly
that can very much help you get in the NCAA tournament.
Exactly.
Very much.
Where if Duke continues to go on and pull out what they're supposed to be this year, which I mean, literally, it felt like Cincinnati was a way better team just watching those games. It was just nuts. But if Duke continues to go on and do what they're supposed to do, then that's a huge resume building win as we continue this tournament talk, as the basketball team tries to do the same. But yeah, another thing I liked is the fact that, you know, there was some weather potentially that was going to ruin some of the games and whatnot. And Bishop was like, no, we're gonna stay here. We're gonna play the games, you know, even if that's pushed back to Monday. So I just like that mentality. You know, they aren't backing down from anybody, and they're gonna go out there and get wins. I thought some big pitching innings out of a couple of the guys, and of course the bats were working their ways. So it's gonna be a fun season. It's very early, but stay locked in. And I'm sure we'll have more and more talk about Cincinnati Bearcats baseball. How about that? Timestamp and mailbag. What do we think, guys?
Quick Paper Supply, wide range of food service products, to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick, 513-470-2029, and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases. The mailbag, by the way, does not have a sponsor.
Oh,
If you would like to sponsor the mailbag, contact me, and we'll work something out. We could use a good mailbag sponsor.
yes.
All right. Well, let's do the mailbag.
Let's do it.
First and foremost, starting out in the football portion of the mailbag. Is the coaching carousel done now with the Super Bowl done?
It's never done. It feels like it's never done, especially for assistants. Again, you never know because you're most of the NFL stuff has been filled, I think, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still seeing guys on my timeline getting hired at schools around the country. So until that dies down, there's always the chance that somebody has a job come open and they've got a connection to one of your guys. And, the domino effects, the ripple effects have not completely mellowed yet. The water's still a little wavy. So I think so, but I will never say never on that because we've seen them happen all the way. Like after spring ball, we've seen coaching changes happen. So,
yeah. When was Tyson Vite named?
that was going into spring ball.
Yeah, that was pretty late in the process. So,
yeah,
that's just how these things work. Definitely
All right,
never.
That ends the football portion of the mailbag. Moving on to the basketball portion. Rank the top 8 guards in the Big 12. Where will Jizzle be ranked if he keeps up his stellar play? That's a lot. That's a lot of dudes.
you rank the top 8 guards in the Big 12.
Well,
and then I'll give my opinion on your rankings.
Let's see.
VJ Edgecombe.
Yeah, easy.
Javon Small.
Another one.
Curtis Jones.
For sure.
Keyshawn Gilbert.
Not putting Lipsy in there?
He hasn't
Not
scored
this
as much this year.
Yeah.
Doug McDaniel. Caleb Love. Doug McDaniel.
LJ Cryer.
LJ Cryer for sure. Milos Uzan might be playing like the best guard in the Big 12 right now with his explosion over the past couple weeks.
Chance McMillian.
Chance McMillan's a bad dude. Christian Anderson, also on that Texas Tech team, has been pretty awesome.
We are not putting any Zeke Mayos or
Zeke Mayo. Would you consider Mayo a guard or a wing?
more guard. DeJuan Harris.
Harris is an if you're talking just like point guard.
Yeah.
Like he's second all time in assists at Kansas. That's pretty good.
Right.
Pretty good.
But if we're talking the last 2 weeks, Jizzle might be right up there at the top.
He's playing his way into that conversation.
Yeah.
But I think it's hard, he's played 13, 14, whatever it is, Big 12 games. He's had like 4 good ones. So not ready to put him all the way up there yet. He's probably outside the top 10, but he is surging.
Right. Yegor Demon.
He's a point guard. 6'8", throwing dimes. Zing. That dude, when he throws those one-handed passes, they got some mustard on them.
It's fun to say.
Some onions.
Onions. Double or.
They missed it, Aaron.
Well, I knew the mustard. That's DJ Mustard, man. Kendrick's guy.
Oh.
It used to be Drake's guy. That's the funny part about that.
Oh, damn. You're well wrote in this.
I'm a hip-hop guy.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Please comment on the significance of player level plus minus. How important is that stat to winning games? Goals against in hockey can be great and your team can still lose. ERA in baseball can be great and your team can still lose. Example, Jizzle has scored 25 points in each of the last 2 games for a total of 50. He is -1 for those 2 games. The team is 1-1.
I'm not going to continue to contribute to your attempt to take shots at Jizzle James, Killer B. We know you love Day-Day Thomas. We're not tearing down Jizzle James because you love Day-Day Thomas. Well, how significant is it? It is not significant at all in a 1-game sample size. None. Zero relevance. Not relevant at all, unless you play 10 minutes and you're like minus 17.
Didn't he answer?
Then
He answered the question. He answered the question
Yeah.
in his own question. When you
I
have,
know.
clearly you understand when you have goals against in hockey looking great and your team can still lose. You cracked the code, Killer V.
Yeah. It's
What are
not
you
important
asking
at
us
all.
for?
Look
Over
at
a
his
30-game
turnovers.
season-
Look over his on-ball defense.
Over a 30-game season, plus minus, because you have a larger sample size, is relevant.
Yeah, but also the thing is, he could, if he's playing a majority of the minutes and there's 4 other guys on the court, if he's doing his job, that doesn't mean that the other team just isn't going to score.
Right.
It's kind of a wacky. I think ERA in baseball is the only time that kind of gets out of control is when you leave runners on when someone comes in for you.
It's not ERA that's misleading in baseball. It's win-loss. Win-loss is a completely irrelevant stat for pitchers.
Well, yeah.
You can say the same
ERA is
thing
still
for
relevant.
You can say the same thing for quarterback, where it's not always
Quarterback wins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean, I see what you did there.
All right.
Gosh,
Moving
seeing
on.
all these stats being randomly thrown together just reminds me of that SEC stat that keeps on getting everyone, where it's like
they're only 500 in league play.
Yeah. Everyone talks about all these good teams at the top of the SEC. Well, you know that they're currently 42-42 in conference play, so they're like, they're very even.
I do know that.
Isn't that crazy, Royer?
I don't know what that is.
They have exactly the same amount of losses and wins in conference play, all the SEC teams.
In all the conference games,
someone's got to lose.
Exactly.
There's a winner and a loser in every game.
Veteran broadcaster Carl Ravish got caught.
You know where it started?
You know where it
started?
It, right?
No, Archie Miller was
Archie.
The SEC's not even all that impressive. Like, they had a great non-conference, but they're only 500 in league play. If you break it down,
he saw someone tweet it.
Arch.
Yeah, he saw someone tweet it. He's like, I saw a tweet the other day where they're only 500 in conference play.
What an idiot.
College basketball's hard. No. So is common sense.
Is CJ Frederick healthy? Why isn't he the obvious choice to replace CMOS in the starting lineup? He will continue to demand the attention of defenses, provide spacing. If he hits 2 or 3 threes in a game, that's as much as CMOS was giving anyway. You're not wrong. With the struggles of CMOS, why not let CJ start anyway, whether CMOS is healthy or not?
I think it probably just goes back to do you have the confidence you could put CJ out there for 32 minutes? And I don't think you do. I mean, he's already had a couple times. Yeah, he's already had a couple times where they've tried to ramp him up and something has happened and he's had to sit out a couple games. I think they would much rather take their chances at keeping him in that 10 to 15 minute range and knowing that they've got him. I mean, I think it'll be interesting if CMOS doesn't start or can't go Wednesday night, because do you start Josh? Do you try to insert Dan back in there, even though he has made some of the worst decisions I've ever seen. And Ryan, against BYU or against Utah in the first half, he had the worst 4-minute stretch I've ever seen a basketball player have.
Yeah, he's getting
0 for 4. 0 for 4. He missed a point-blank layup. He had 2 turnovers. Like, he had a bunch of offensive rebounds. Like, he was active, but he was just a disaster when the ball got into his hands.
He was plus minus. He was negative.
He was. He did have a negative plus.
A good example of when that actually.
But also in those games
I like to call back.
Dan had a couple small segments where he did the thing that we remember him doing, getting a few offensive rebounds and stickbacks and knocking down crucial 3-point shot against Utah.
Yeah, it's just, I couldn't believe he even had the nuts to shoot some of those threes at the end of the game. I was like, just the kind of the way he played in the first half and just kind of his trend in general. I was like, is he really shooting that? Oh, he is. Oh my God, he made it. I don't know. We need to do like a study on him. Someone's got to come in and research this fall off. And
I think Aaron's onto something. Josh did something with the rocks. Geology Josh did something with the rocks.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Aaron came up with this theory, and I think it's the best theory I've heard. Geology Josh did something to Tasmanian Dan.
Yo, D Skills, come check out these dinosaur bones I found. And then before you know it, just that's not
Now you ruined it. Now you ruined it.
paleontology.
Yeah. Just stop, Brent.
Over under 1.5 technicals during UC versus West Virginia.
Under.
That was wildly out of character for this team to get what.
Why
4?
did they even call the one on Josh? Because he hit the desk? Since when is that I mean, I guess it's like, oh, you can't touch the shit. Is it if you slap the hoop stanchion, is that a technical too?
It's not. I mean, I guess technically it's supposed to be, but like he was mad at himself because he fouled.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
He wasn't trying to show up the refs. He was just being a 22-year-old in the heat of competition that was like,
yeah, and he didn't even look at the refs once. Didn't react when he got the technical. So it was. Yeah.
Age doesn't have anything to do that. We all still do that when we're playing video games. Come on now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Shit. It's not 22.
also,
it's just testosterone.
Well, what?
Man in the arena.
Were there 5 total techs in that game?
yeah. How dare you treat that object like an object? Well, there was the double technical on Aziz, and was it Jefferson?
No, Deshaun.
Deshaun Jackson, yeah.
Jackson, yeah.
And then
which by the way, he was the one that turned and looked at Aziz. Whatever.
And then Keyshawn Gilbert got one, Josh got one, and Wes got one. 5. I'm going to be under.
Yeah.
I think Aziz should start swearing at people in different. He speaks several different languages. You've got a palette to choose from. Don't speak the one they know. All right. Comment on your understanding of the status of the JUCO no count ruling. Comment on the status of the proposed 5-5 as it applies to Day if JUCO no count holds up in court. And
we can stop all this. I have no idea what he is rambling. He's trying to get Day like 7 extra years of eligibility. Right now, he has 1 extra year. 1. You get 1 year from JUCO back. That's it. 1 is 1 year. He's trying like they run concurrent and they overlap, and so he gets an individual year for each of the. No, he gets 1 year. 1 year. As it currently stands. It's not my understanding. It is the rule. Right now, he gets 1 year extra because of the JUCO ruling.
Thank you for stopping me because it continued on for about.
Yeah, it's 1 year. He's got 1 year. 1.
All right. I think this is supposed to be Brent. Ken Palm ranks UC's non-con schedule 339th in the country. Do you think that's a big reason for the 2-8 start?
Brent, it's for Brett. So Brett, go ahead.
Yeah, should we hit up Stein real fast? That's actually happened a lot where people are like, "Great job, Brett," and I think that it's a mix of me and Brett Stein. I guess I don't know, but no, I don't think so. I like the whole MTE thing. Like they need to schedule harder to be more ready for the beginning of conference play. I disagree with that because it's like for me, it's more so about what are you hitting stride at the right time? Because I mean, they played Xavier and Dayton in 2 of the 3 games leading into conference play. Those are 2 difficult teams. I mean, Dayton almost beat Iowa State. Dayton probably should have beaten North Carolina, and then they beat UConn. They beat Marquette at home. Like that at that point in time, Dayton was playing just as good as any P5 team out there, other than Auburn and Duke and the heavy hitters. So I don't think so. No, and plus the 339th in the country, I think, has a lot more to do with the cupcakes that are just bogging down the quad four. I would like to see a couple more, just like I guess it's hard, Chad. You know more about scheduling. It's hard to like forecast which teams are going to fall into that little quad three realm, because I mean all of the teams ended up being pretty damn bad. Like NKU ended up being bad. You know, all these teams that you thought were going to compete for their conference tournament, conference championships, all ended up being pretty bad. I mean, you look at there's 0 quad 3 games right now on the entire schedule.
West Virginia and the non-conference played Louisville, Arizona, Georgetown, and Pittsburgh. They've lost 7 of their last 10 in the Big 12.
Right.
So, like, there's no correlation from that. Playing in an MTE wasn't going to make them go on a run that beat Baylor, Kansas, and Arizona in 3 of the first 4 games.
Yeah.
All right. Thinking of getting a Jizzle James jersey. Will it be worthless in 4 weeks?
I just love when it gets Chad like that.
It all depends on how much memories are worth to you.
One last thing. Maryland has the 5th worst non-conference strength of schedule, and they are currently one of the hotter teams in the entire country. 20-6.
Did you just hit us with the 1, 2, 3 fall field?
Yeah, buddy. You heard it.
Crypt Keeper, where the hell you been? You're not here as much as you used to be. Where the hell you been, buddy?
Well, he got a shout out here, and he had to make it known. All right, that's the end of the basketball portion of the mailbag. Moving on to the baseball portion of the mailbag.
Ooh,
dang!
How many teams are the new Big 12 expected to get in the College World Series most years? Jeff Gentle answered the question in the mailbag. Actually,
well, Arizona State, Texas Tech, TCU.
Are you just naming all the Southern teams?
Oklahoma State. No, I'm naming good college baseball teams. Those 5 will probably always be in, no matter what.
Last year, UCF made it. Kansas State made it.
Right.
Arizona made it. West Virginia made it.
Kansas, kinda.
What do you mean, kinda? Oklahoma State made it.
No, I'm just saying, expected in most years.
I'm reading off. I said I'm reading off the teams that made it last year. Those are the teams that made it last year, and none of them made it to the College World Series. It was basically just AC. It was all ACC and SEC. Virginia, North Carolina, Florida State, Tennessee, Kentucky, NC State, Florida, Texas A&M. Yeah, that was it. It was all ACC and SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Gentle mentioned that there are 7 projected to make it this year from the Big 12, with Duke a projected 1 seed, Indiana and Louisville projected to make the tournament. UC would face 10 teams that were preseason NCAA bracket.
Yeah.
Boom.
All right. And the last question in the baseball portion of the mailbag. The Killer Bees infiltrated. I know you guys are not as deep into baseball as you are into hoops and football quite yet. Notice how I say yet. Please comment on the Bearcats being predicted to finish 10th in the Big 12 after finishing 5th last year. They added roster strength through the portal, kept all the right players, and dare I say, have one of the nation's best young coaches.
If you read all of these, you are just encouraging him to write 500-word mailbox questions. 2 sentences, Killer V. 2 sentences. If you can't get it in 2 sentences, don't ask.
There's a PS. We have beaten Oklahoma, Texas, and Duke twice in our last 6 games.
P.S. Gotta get it in there.
I mean,
definitely they're gonna finish above 10.
yeah, I mean, a lot of teams put a lot of NIL towards baseball, and they returned a lot and also added a lot through the portal as well. Don't get out and ahead of the skis. I do think they'll finish better than 10th, but I mean, coming into the year, they lost their top average guy, they lost their top power hitter, and then they kind of had some other question marks that were coming in that will start to show more and more as the games go on. So, I mean, on the surface,
the job is not, fans can do this. Our job is not to get too crazy, like when you start 2-0 and you win at Pitt, and then you bet the farm on the Miami game, and then everybody loses their ass. Like, you gotta stay.
When the Kool-Aid tastes good.
It was a hypothetical, Ryan. It was a hypothetical. It was a hypothetical.
Yeah.
Just purely, everybody was excited after they started 2-0 2 years ago.
We were going back to the playoff, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Came back down to earth rather quickly. So, let's see. I think they'll finish higher than 10th. I don't know where, because I don't know enough about Big 12 baseball to speak, confidently about it.
Yeah.
But Aaron and I'll start doing Big 12 baseball nightcaps.
Oh,
and we'll learn.
Let's go.
That's what we do. Also, you mentioned him, Killer V, being one of the nation's best young coaches. Is 43 a young coach at this point? What are we doing here?
Yeah, 43 is still pretty young for a coach.
Everyone, 43 is young.
I'm 40 myself, and I don't know that I necessarily would consider that young.
But you're old for a podcast guy. Like, you're old for this medium.
That's why we have Royer here.
Got to bring the average age.
Brings the
median up there
and the mode down.
The shit's flying by.
Median mode.
Hey, Royer. Damn near 50. I had a couple. I had one this weekend that really hit me on how old I'm getting, Ryan. Tom Izzo became the winningest basketball coach in Big Ten history, right?
Yep.
Do you know when Tom Izzo where do you think I was in life when Tom Izzo took the Michigan State job?
College.
Are you my age? 26?
I was a high school senior when Tom Izzo became the head coach at Michigan State.
Crazy.
And now he has won more games in the Big Ten than any coach in history. And I have lived my entire adult life while Tom Izzo has been the head coach at Michigan State. And it feels like Tom Izzo has been the head coach at Michigan State for 1,000 years.
All right, that's the baseball portion of the mailbag. It is open, so feel free to drop your questions in there. Thanks to Jeff Gentle for helping us out on a question none of us would have been able to answer otherwise.
And I'll tell you right now, Ryan, if you answer this next question with this one, we got a problem.
What was the worst job you ever had? That's the only question in the banks portion of the mailbag.
I know mine.
It's probably the worst.
I had a job where I was selling cable, essentially, some type of cable package. It wasn't for a cable company; it was for a satellite company. But going door to door, and we had to wear a suit and tie. And I'm fairly certain it was part of a cult as well, because you had to like come back and do this like party, and they only hung out with each other outside of work, and it was really fucking weird. And so, I was in
that cult.
Yeah, it was really weird.
I did knives for like 10 days. I sold knives door to door.
Was it Cutco?
So
I don't know. I've
heard about that Cutco shit.
Yeah.
I'm like 3 weeks into this job, something like that. And I go to this house and a dog attacks me and tears my suit pants. And they're like, I mean, $100 pair of pants. So I'm pissed. I go back to the office. I'm like, I'm done today. Actually, I'm gonna go home because I got attacked by a dog and I kicked it in the face. And I'm done today. And my boss looked at me and he said, "Is that what you are? Are you a quitter?" And I'm like,
Yep.
you know, as a matter of fact, I am. I quit this job and this stupid cult. And good luck with whatever it is that you do. And he's like, "You're really gonna do this?" And I'm like, "Bro, I should have actually led with that. You did me a favor."
Aaron gave him the old, "Screw you guys, I'm going home. Screw you,
Unreal.
home. Screw you,
Unreal.
home."
That was the stupidest job I ever had.
I was selling knives door to door for like 10 days. And we would drive around like 3 hours away in Kentucky and Ohio and Indiana. And we were like in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, out in the holler somewhere. And this I was like 20 years old, like 20, 21 years old. And this 60-year-old lady hit on me. And I was like, this is enough. I can't do this anymore. Like,
you had knives. You were fine.
I think she probably had guns, Aaron. We were at her
find
house.
You.
You're right. Like, I was like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and get in the car and I'm gonna drive the 3 hours back. I also got a ticket in the middle of nowhere. And my dad had to drive me all the way down to 3 hours away to wherever this was to pay this speed ticket I got. It was a bad job. I didn't do it for long. Got out of there. Went into some more reliable business ventures after that.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
Right, what you got?
I had fun jobs, man. And let's see here. I worked at a the snack shop at a water park. I had some crazy times there.
That sounds like a fun job. That sounds like just girls running around in bikinis all the time. That's a great job.
A bunch of lifeguards and we had some crazy parties. Let's see here. Then I did a lot of serving. There was this thing called Blue Indy. There were these little electrical cars. It was kind of like a little Segway job, little bridge job, if you will. And that sucked. I had to be up at 6 a.m. and roll around with this girl named Tiffany. Shouts to Tiffany. If you're ever listening out there, shouts. Loved my time.
Brent's single, Tiffany, if you are too.
Nah, she was not single. But yeah, that was a weird thing. Had to drive around these little Blue Indy cars. Look up Blue Indy and you'll see this little electrical car, and I had to go fix other cars that were plugged in and go give little tours. And
why is everything little? Why do you keep saying little?
Because they're little. They are little cars, and sometimes you get a little nervous that the car was going to run out of battery. Yeah, I'd say that was the worst one. But
Ron, I got so many tickets that my dad had to pay.
Yeah, there they are, little Blue Indy cars.
Do you even fit in one of these?
Look at that thing, man.
You're
What
tall.
about the junk pile? The Blue Indy scrapyard.
Yeah. Well, it didn't go very well for them. Let's just say that. The whole system went down. But yeah, that was my job. Going and plugging them into those little plugs, and it was interesting.
So it's like one of the scooters, but a car.
Exactly. Yes. It was fun.
And yes, I am Gen X, Crypt Keeper, the fuck around and find out generation.
There we go.
Ryan, is your worst job a player for Luke Fickle?
Hell no. You all know I'm still on that. Yeah, I said mine was got to be landscaping. I didn't really do much. I'd landscaped in high school, and then I just got a job out of college.
Did you guys ever wait tables serving?
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I did.
Oh yeah,
I was an outstanding server.
Me too. I was
Ted told the story about his experience at Uno's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I dominated. And that is a lot of fun right there too.
It's a lot of partying.
All your
It's
serving
a lot
buddies
of partying.
in college. Woo!
Get done with work at 10, 11 o'clock at night. Next thing you know, it's 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Then
That's what you're doing at Uno's?
Just no, anywhere. Like I have multiple serving jobs. Like I'm just saying, like a normal, like you work a Friday night, nobody gets off until like 11, right?
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, all right, let's go get into some shit. Then
Yeah.
you go get into some shit, and next thing you know, it's 6 in the morning, and you're like, fuck, I got double. I gotta be back at work at 10.
10 o'clock.
One of the
And then you
restaurants I
walk
worked
in,
at,
it's like, let's go.
one of the restaurants I worked at in college, it had a restaurant on one half of the building, and on the other half of the building was a nightclub.
Oh hell yeah.
See,
that was
easy.
dangerous. That was dangerous.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. You just go next door when your shift is over.
That is how I drank through the age 20.
All my 20s. Every single one of them.
All right, that's the mailbag. Get us out of here, Brett.
Huge game on Wednesday, guys. Man almighty. I still think we can go dancing. Yeah, you know what? There's this thing called the NCAA tournament. It comes in March. It's like literally one of my favorite things in the world. And they have this thing called Selection Sunday. It's like a Sunday where they start naming all these teams. Like, why don't we just go to that? Why not we just go to the tournament? Damn it. Just
You know what else I've been looking at, Brent?
Let's hear.
If they don't make the big dance,
Oh my God.
if they don't, they're probably going to be in the Crown Invitational.
Don't. Oh my God.
Do you know what the Crown Invitational is, Brent?
Yes.
Vegas,
all
baby.
the,
Woo!
all the non
7
all
days
the
in Vegas
P5s. Oh
at the
my God.
MGM Grand.
Maybe.
We lost Brett. That's how we lost Brett.
I guess there are worse. I guess there are worse.
Look, I'm just saying, like, Kelsey's already like working on flights and like hotel rooms. She's ready to go.
Is that a trip that you take Kelsey on?
She can stay in the room. She's 14.
Brent, where are you? There, the game starts in 10 minutes. No.
Ron, you can come to Vegas and babysit Kelsey while I hang out in Vegas.
Brent calls Chad. Chad, we fucked up.
Royer and I are in the desert somewhere.
With
All they
Chong.
left us with were 2 socks.
Is it what's the Asian guy in that movie? What is his name in it?
Oh, it's what is it? Harvey? No. Lee?
It's definitely just some. Is it Lee?
I forget.
The guy
My guess
from
was Chong. So
Community.
It might be Chong.
You guys are doing yourselves no service here.
It's Mr. Chow.
Mr.
Chow.
Chow. Let's see how
I'm
racially
getting outta here.
insensitive we can get these.
Mr. Chow. Hilarious movie, The Hangover. That's what we're referencing. There's nothing bad about referencing The Hangover. It's a movie.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
Leslie Chow. Yes.
Leslie Chow. There we go. Doubts. Well, I hope Chad comes back so I can say goodbye to all my best friends that I talk to every Monday. There he is. There. Oh, I see what you did.
That's
That's
Italian,
okay.
Chad.
Hey,
I
massive
know.
game, Ryan.
I know. I was trying to change the subject, Ryan.
Massive game, Ryan.
Yes.
Wednesday night. 7
Huge.
p.m. at West Virginia. Chance for a quad 1 win. Do it. 5-1. 5-1.
Please, God.
Ring the bell. But
So we don't have to go to that meaningless, terrible NIT.
not
No,
even
Ryan,
that. Go to the
They're going to go to the Crown.
Vegas.
So it's
new.
crown. It's crown or nothing. It's not crown or
it's
NIT.
Crown or NIT. Like
Okay.
it's Crown then NIT.
So, Ryan, the Crown is run by Fox, and it's going to be populated with the best teams that didn't make the tournament from the Big East, the Big 10, and the Big 12.
Okay.
And
Let's
then
not go
there. I don't want to go there, but if we
Yeah.
have to go to Vegas, we have to go to Vegas.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's
Got
a
it.
business write-off, Ryan. I have to go cover the game.
Genius.
I'm not even going to bring that
Get us out of here.
on wood. But, shouts to
Gets
Dan
out of here.
out of here. Shouts
Pot roast time.
to favorites for flying all of our timestamps. Shouts to New Riff or New Riffing with Royer, my best friend. And shouts, of course, to the guys, the crew, and the squad. So for Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, Ryan Royer, and Brent Young, yet again another fantastic BBP presented by Bearcat Journal.com.